Hi, I'm Cindy Lake. Mac and I planted a church years ago in a brand new community, and I can honestly say that it was the most exciting, adventurous, but yet challenging season of our lives. And that's why our subject today is so important. In this session, we're going to be talking about calling, and it is vital that we have the confidence in the calling to church planting. You see, you are going to have days of disappointments, doubts, and even confusion. And it's then when we need to be able to look back and be reminded of our calling to help us stay focused and persevere through. Well, I want to share with you two lessons that God taught me about calling through our church planting experience. The first lesson is I learned that marriage is a God-anointed team, a partnership with divine purpose and plan. And because of that, God would not call one and not the other. But sometimes we look at the intensity of our husband's calling and we begin to doubt because our intensity is not the same. You see, the goal is not to confirm mutual intensity, but to confirm mutual calling. You know, when Mac and I, he came to me years ago, and he said, "Cindy, what do you think about church planting?" And I can honestly tell you that I had no response. I didn't know what church planting was. Way back then, I'd never heard of a church planter. And so I really didn't know what to do and what it was all about. But I knew I was up for whatever God had called us to do. And I knew that without a doubt, I was called to support my husband and to walk beside him in ministry. And so the process started, and I saw God work in Mac. There began this incredible stirring and this pulling to this church plant. Passion began to just grow. And then there was overwhelming confirmation. God used people, He used His Word, He used circumstances to solidify, okay, this is what He's really doing. But it truly was not until we actually moved to this new area and I began to relationally connect with people, with families in that community, that I really caught the vision and that I could truly say, God has called me, my family, to church plant. So let me ask you a question. Are you able to identify confirmation that God is personally calling you to church plant? So the second lesson I learned is that as we are living out God's calling for us, we must know who God created us to be. You see, God has uniquely gifted each of you with special personalities, passions, talents, leadership styles, all working together to fulfill the calling for your life. You know, when Mac and I would do premarital counseling or marriage counseling, we would always tell the couple, be a student of your spouse. Well, the truth is, we've got to be a student of ourselves. You see, if we learn who God's created us to be, we can serve in areas that you love, that are fulfilling. Now, in church planting, the truth is, there will be seasons, short seasons, where we will have to serve in areas of ministry that we're not so passionate about. But the truth is, they are short seasons. And I just encourage you to make sure that leadership development is a part of your church's DNA so that we can always be raising up leaders to do the work of the ministry according to Ephesians 4:12. So, when you know who God's created you to be, it gives you the confidence to do ministry in a healthy way. So when we don't know who God created us to be, it can lead to three dangerous outcomes. The first is burnout. When we serve in ways for the long haul that are not in line with who God created us to be, it leads to frustration and burnout. And you know what? I know we all want to lead well to the very end. The second thing is this comparison game. You know, when I stepped into this role as the senior pastor's wife and when we planted the church, all I knew what that looked like was the previous pastor wives that I had been exposed to. And the truth is, I was nothing like them. Yes, they were incredible, mighty women of God, and they had their very special, unique giftedness, but it was nothing like mine. And so I had to learn that I cannot compare myself to them. I had to be who God created me to be. And the third is people-pleasing. You know, when we play this game of seeking others' approval, it only leads to us to unhealthy places. We have to only seek God's approval. So let me end by asking you another question. How has God wired you? You know, a dear friend of mine shared something with me a couple years ago, and I truly think about this daily. And he said, know yourself, be yourself, and like yourself. Wow, I think that's huge. Well, as you continue throughout this session on calling, I pray that it will be an encouragement to you and that you'll enjoy this time. Thank you.